Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Boss Trends. Number 1. Kim Richards back in 2015. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kim Richards appeared in a Dr. Phil exclusive to discuss her battle with alcoholism and a recent arrest for assaulting a police officer. Kim proved to be more stubborn than anticipated. She said she wanted to be in rehab for no longer than 30 days, despite her daughter's insistence that she should do 60 days. Then she wanted to remain close to home when Phil continued to push the matter of her treatment. Kim grew anxious and promptly left by leaving Phil and her children to sit in awkward silence. Kim got arrested again the following August for shoplifting at Target.
And I said, I just need to sit down for a second. He's like, no, we're closed. You need to leave. I'm calling the police. Did you?
Number 2. Raging mom. Mothers can be difficult, but is your mother bad enough to bring on Dr. Phil? 17-year-old Summer certainly thought so, as she brought her raging lunatic mother. This lady screamed at her children, stabbed paintings and mattresses, and even physically abused her husband. She thought that her husband was useless, and so were her kids. When Phil confronted Susan about her anger, Susan told him that she doesn't need this and promptly left the stage by leaving an unperturbed Phil to continue the discussion with Peter and Summer. Considering her treatment of her family, it sounds like she let Phil off easy.
Which means you can do that. I'm always rational, but you came back and you were rational, and there is a chance.
Number 3. Sherilyn. This 19-year-old teenager appeared on the show who thought that she was the richest teenager in the world. The mother was one who called Dr. Phil to help after her teenager stole all 17 credit cards and used them, which resulted in $25,000 debt. The girl was also involved in gambling and causing so many problems in her mother's life. Dr. Phil got very frustrated but tried to maintain the behavior and advised the teenager to observe her behavior, but he did not provide any suitable solution.
To you if you had that money back right now?
I would probably have my own house right now. I'd have my car paid off.
Do you hear her saying she not only is not appreciative of it?
Number 4. Sandra and Linda. A woman named Linda called Dr. Phil to help with her neighbors, Sandra and Joey Gore. In the midst of a bitter custody battle, Linda's concerned that their children have been caught in the middle while Sandra's on stage defending herself. Phil stated that he's going to bring out Linda. This caused Sandra to panic, and she stated that she will leave the stage if Linda is brought out. She and Phil got into quite a heated argument before Sandra got up and walked out just as she said she would. Sandra waived her right to tell her side of the story. It can be tough getting along with your neighbors, but this is the next level. Number 5. Anthony and Jamie. In this episode, Anthony brought his brother Jamie on the show to discuss his dangerous abuse of steroids, alcohol, and cocaine. However, Jamie wasn't having any of it. Phil continued discussing Jamie's problem with his family, even going so far as to sit in Jamie's now vacated chair. Phil has little patience with Southern people who lie directly to his face. The things got pretty heated, and guests started getting into an argument. During their catfight, there was the use of foul language. Dr. Phil was sitting there saying nothing until he realized that this is a family show and he has to stop the argument, though he failed to provide any solution. Number 6. Courtney. This teen can make anyone mad because of her stupid activities. This teen was just 17 and had overly destructive habits. Dr. Phil almost lost his temper when he heard that Courtney duct taped the mouth of a disabled kid. The teen seemed to be self-centered and complete of self-conceit to the point where Dr. Phil practiced all of his failure to help the kid in explaining the point, but inadequately failed. This episode was quite interesting to watch with all the weirdness and cringiness. Number 7. Madison. This kid had some serious issues, and even her parents were terrified of her on Dr. Phil's show. Madison was a remarkably destructive teenager who cherished attacking her parents out of violence. Her parents were frightened of her and thought that Madison would kill them one day. Dr. Phil decided to examine the situation and told the kid to act properly. The situation got disappointing to the point where Madison chose to leave the stage, leaving Dr. Phil in an awkward position where once again he failed badly. Number 8. Man Who Was the Original Catfish. We all love MTV's program Catfish, but just before that, it was displays like Dr. Phil that exposed scammers. Like a man called Dennis who wasted $200,000 for his fiancée to come back to America after a business trip to South Africa. Dr. Phil was once again left with no words, and he tried to understand the case for a long time. Unfortunately, Phil failed to help the case.
Has never stayed at the address she claimed in Amsterdam. Kimberly and Sandra Escobar are not the people in the pictures.
Number 9. Daniel Bergoli. Cash me outside, how about that? Sounds familiar, right? Well, this is a famous saying of the girl who was involved in stealing cars of her mother. The kid is very independent and kept trolling audiences. Dr. Phil got really baffled with this kid and suggested that she behave accordingly. This episode was pretty interesting, but Phil failed to help the kid. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it, hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.